Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Welcome to today's ILRE Real Estate Student Success Story. Wow, we got a great one on today. We've got a fantastic one on today. So I've just been having a bit of a chat with Jordan, who's going to be coming on very, very soon. We're going to get into this, but just in the meantime, I just want to make sure everyone's getting on board. Okay. If you can type into the Zoom chat, please just type in, make sure that the sound is coming through. You can see us here. If that's all cool for you, please just type in. Good to see everyone coming on board. And also for those on Facebook as well, we are streaming live into the Ultimate Facebook group. Jody, all good and hi there. Thanks, Jody. Thanks for sharing. That's what we like here within the community, isn't it? Sharing is caring. And we're going to have a bit more sharing and caring too soon. Won't we, Jordan? Oh, hang on. We got lots more people coming on board. So we're just going to leave it just a few minutes, make sure everyone is on board before we get started. Hey. Now, I have been speaking and gone over a little bit of an introduction. Oh, it's Jordan. Yeah, I know, Jody. Shh, don't tell. It's supposed to be a surprise. He's here. I know. You can see. So look, we've just been having a bit of a chat, and I couldn't track how many deals. So I still don't know how many this particular student has done. So we're going to have to find out. Hey, have you written them down?
I tried to, and then we kept getting sidetracked. Hold on, leave it with me.
Write them down. Write them down. You need to know. You need to know a bit of a number. There's a lot. There's a lot. So for those of you who don't know already, every year, and this is prior to COVID because we've had a few kind of concerns about doing the ILRE Real Estate Super Conference. Every year we have an ILRE Real Estate Super Conference. Now at the ILRE Real Estate Super Conference, it's really a place where we come together as a community, and Dymphna puts out the word out into the community and says, please send in your success stories. We want to review them and want to share them on stage with the whole ILRE Real Estate community. And from that, we get a whole lot of people and students coming back and saying, hey, look, this is what I've done. And then Dymphna has the tough decision to kind of go through and find out, okay, who are the people that we're going to have up on stage? So Jordan is one of those who was selected, Jordan and Alex. Now we've just got Jordan here today. He's going to share his story, and he's been doing a whole lot since he was up on stage recently as well. So I believe we've got everyone pretty much on board. So I'm just going to switch off the waiting room, let everybody in. I believe everyone should be on board. Thank you very much for sharing. If anyone else would please like to just tap into the Zoom chat and let us know. Is the sound coming through okay? Can you see us okay? Is everything good? Are you ready? Are we good to go? Cecilia, thank you. Yes, fantastic. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So we're all good to go here. I think we should just get going. Jordan, how are you doing? How are you doing? Are you ready to have a bit of a chat and share your story here? Right. This is Jordan. He is going to be sharing his story and what he's been doing over the last number of years, and we're really looking forward to it. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm very well, very well. Enjoying life, definitely.
Well, very good to hear. Very good to hear. And you also just did a recent videos for those of you students who are spot on. Thanks, Suraj and Cecilia. You can hear okay, great. And Peter, good, excellent. You recently did a video too. So for those of you wondering if it's the same person,
it is.
You're the same person, aren't you?
There'll probably be another video this afternoon or tomorrow, actually. So keep tuned for that if you've been interested in that deal that we've been doing.
Stay tuned.
There's some old students that have just come back into it. So it's exciting times.
Fantastic, fantastic, awesome. So, let's get straight into it. I really want to find out a little bit about. You had a really interesting kind of like way that you joined the community. So, could you well, actually, before you joined, give us a bit of an idea about what was life like for you before you joined? You know, like where were you at? How was that for you?
Life. I wouldn't say life was bad. Life was good. You know, I owned one property. I worked fly in, fly out. Relatively happy. Right before I joined the community, I just met Alex where I was fly in, fly out. That's how we met actually in Darwin, and I live in New South Wales. So life was good. We had good relationship, but I just other than that, I didn't know where I was heading in life. I didn't know where I wanted to be. Put it that way. Yeah.
Got it. And so, what happened? How did you find ILRE Real Estate? You were searching online, was that right?
Yeah. So I was online just having a look at some other properties that I was looking at moving to. So we were going to just rent out the property we had and move on to a bit of a tree change. I grew up on property, so I sort of wanted to get back to property. I'm a bit of a noisy person, so if something pops into my head at 10 o'clock at night and I want to go out into the shed and do it, then I kind of want to do it. So neighbours aren't the best thing for that when you're a noisy person like that. So I just wanted to have a bit of space to do what I wanted to do and not annoy anyone. But unbeknownst to me at the time, I couldn't really move to a position where I couldn't really afford to purchase that or to get to that dream. And then while I was looking through properties online, the advertisement for ILRE Real Estate just popped up in the top corner. And I clicked on it, and there was a short video of Dymphna just introducing the one-day course and how it was free, and just if anything, just come and get some free information about property. I wouldn't say I normally did things like that. I wouldn't say I was attracted to those sort of things. I was brought up as those sort of things are scams and stuff like that. But there was something definitely different about this one. So I think it was about a week before the one day, and I signed up for it, and off I went about a week later.
Dymphna has that effect.
Yes.
Dymphna has that effect. And I'm sure chances are there's a number of people here listening today as well who'll probably go, you know what, I saw one of those ads too. It popped up while I was looking for something. It was Dymphna, and you've clicked on that as well. So similar kind of entry. Yeah. So what were the first things? What was the first things that happened for you? Because you actually got the DVDs and all that kind of stuff, didn't you, when you joined up?
Yeah, I think it was 2016 when I signed up. So back then it was all DVD. So you wait about 2 weeks or something like that, and the DVDs show up in the mail. All that sort of stuff's online now. And that was very much my style of learning then, sitting there on the bed at home and just watching DVDs. So they showed up, I watched all them, and then decided that was enough sort of education for me, and let's get out and do it. So the property we had, it was a larger block with a small house that needed renovated on the front. So we decided, let's renovate this little 2-bedder into a 3-bed 2-bath. And that was about as much thought into it as I put into it back then.
So did you have any budget, do any due diligence or anything like that before doing?
No, I didn't study enough to know. I didn't study at all, really. I just watched the DVD. So there was no effort put into due diligence, budgeting, anything like that at all. Time frames, anything you can think of, to the point where in the middle of this renovation, we decided, without any budget or money at all, we decided, let's build a granny flat on the back of the property, right in the middle of a renovation. So just like very spur of the moment thinking, no direction at all, nothing. And that just led us down the garden path into the red zone pretty much. Obviously, if you've got no budget, you don't really know where you're heading, you don't really know what you're spending. So once our savings were gone, credit cards started to come into the equation, personal loans, the equity we had in the property, we took it out to build the granny flat. So then we had a higher mortgage, multiple personal loans. On top of that, I still had car loans and things like that as well outside of the property that I was still paying for as well. So it really just put us further and further behind, even though we felt like we were moving forward.
So you didn't realise this at the time? You thought you were actually doing really well?
No, I thought I was killing it because I never studied. I was never really good. Never really good through school. Didn't have the patience. I was very, very physical. I was always playing sports and riding motorbikes and just out and about. I couldn't sit down and just read a book, or sit down and flick through a page and study for an exam. It just wasn't what I could do growing up. And unfortunately, that followed through into this into the start of this ILRE real estate process for me. And so that just led us into a further and further debt, to a point where we did live at the property at one point, and it got to the point where we actually had to move back in with my parents and rent both the properties out because we couldn't afford to hold them. But we thought we were doing great. We still thought we were doing great at this point. So,
so you had so much debt that you couldn't service it. You had to move back in with your parents.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And you still thought you were doing well.
And we still thought we were doing well. Yeah.
Can you give us a bit of an idea of like figures? Like, did you what were you looking at? Kind of.
What I made a week was more just in interest than what I made a week. Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
There was more in the interest payments and things like that than what I was making a week. So
you were going backwards.
When we sat down with the strategists later on in the story and talked about it, they actually said, "I don't understand how you did this for so long. I don't understand how you're being able to pay them, and don't understand how the banks would keep lending you money." It was pretty. Looking back at it now, it was very scary, very scary.
And what was the crunch time? What? Well, it was the boot camp, was that right?
Yeah, we struggled there for about 2 years. I didn't do any study for about 2 years, or sort of just, I love real estate was just something in the back of my mind. Then it wasn't something I was putting a lot of interest to. Still lived with the parents and thinking, well, we should be out. Why can't we buy another property? Let's go and buy another property. And I went to a couple of banks, I think, back then, and obviously none of them were saying we can't lend to you. And then I think I was flicking through Facebook, and the reminder come up for the 3-day boot camp, because I still hadn't been to a boot camp yet. All I'd done is watch videos. That's all I'd done. And I went, right, let's do this and see what comes of it. So, because I haven't been to a boot camp yet, it could be exciting. So I said to Alex, let's go. It's 3 weeks away. Let's book it in. Let's go. So we were all excited. On the Friday, we sat down, went through all the information. Dymphna was up on stage in the morning, and all the coaches and that, and I was just in love again. It just captured me all over again. I just couldn't wait to do something, couldn't wait to make things happen. But obviously the next stage from that is to talk to the strategists and see where you're at financially and see what you can do. So we did that. We had our lunch. We actually spoke to a strategist before lunch, and then we booked in for an appointment with a strategist at lunch. So the strategist before lunch basically said, you can't do anything. You are that up into debt to your eyeballs. I don't understand how you're servicing your debts. You need to sell everything you've got and basically start again. And we were just a bit confused. We were still in that space, like, how this property's awesome. There's 2 rental incomes from the one property. How are we in a bad position? We just didn't understand it. So he went, look, your strategist, you can have an appointment with them at lunch. Why don't you go and have a talk with your strategist at lunch and go through it again? Obviously, the outcome was still the same. You can't go anywhere, guys. Like, you're up to your eyeballs in debt. We need to sell and we need to move forward.
How did you feel getting that info back when someone sat down with you, or the strategist sat down with you twice? What was it like?
It was very confronting. Especially for my partner. She was very still taken back by the whole point of how. But we had no interest in looking at the debt position we were in. We were just looking at the income we were creating and saying, well, we make good income. Why can't we do anything? But we just weren't looking at the fact that we couldn't. We were making good income, but we also had to service a lot of debt that wasn't letting us go anywhere. So that's what we kept holding on to. We kept holding on to the income and not looking at serviceability position. So we went through the rest of that day. At the end of that day, you get your peg in the sand book. So we went and did our peg in the sand that night. And we did them separately. So we didn't do them together. We did our own separately. We didn't really talk for about 2 hours. We just sort of thought about ourselves and where we wanted to go. And once we come together later and spoke about where we wanted to go, we both come to the same conclusion that we're not going to get to anywhere we want to be in the position we are now. There's just no way forward. There's no way out of it. So that next day we woke up with a new attitude. We went straight back into the conference. Went through the rest of the weekend. Super excited. Had a conversation with our strategist before we left of what we want to do. Yep, we're going to sell. We're going home. We're going to finish the renovations, and we're going to put this property on the market. We're going to sell it, and we're going to pay off all the debts, and we're going to move forward. And then we sort of established a relationship with that strategist then, and we stayed in contact, and it made us a little bit accountable to that person. So we didn't just say things and then that was the end of it. There was someone ringing us asking where you're at, what's going on, where you're up to. And that was a real game changer for us. That kept us online, kept us moving forward. And within 3 months, the property was finished, renovated, was on the market for sale. And I think it only took about 3 weeks to sell that one. And after we sold and paid off the mortgage, we still had 250 grand of cash there in the bank, and nearly all of that had gone to pay off those the debts that we had. So that's how much debt position we were in. But it left us enough to have a deposit to move into the next deal.
So just on that point. So when you entered the deal originally,
yeah,
to when you exited the deal,
yeah,
was it a profit or a loss for you to exit?
I was basically I left. Over the time it would have been a loss for sure, because you're paying all that interest over that time. We never actually added it up. We wouldn't have been able to, because all the money we'd spent that weren't like bank transactions, they were cash payments and stuff like that. We'd have never been able to add it up. There was no way it was a profit, but it still put us in enough position to pay everything off and move on to a deal that can give us profit. So
you came out just a little bit above neutral at the end. Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. So so what happened then? Now that you've had that difficult conversation, you've realised what you've done.
We've paid off all this debt. We're getting paid each week, and the money's not going out the window like it was. There's money coming in, and I was just super excited about just that change of life, just like that, just from going to that boot camp and talking to the right people, and being around the right people. So I just wanted to give a little back. So I put a Facebook post up on the students only page, just sort of saying, like, this is where we were, this is where we are now. I just really want to thank everyone. It's great to see how easy it is when you listen and when you do the right thing, how quickly you can move forward. And a student actually reached out to me and said, oh, look, I've just bought a property just around the corner from yours. I really like what you've done. Do you want to meet up and have a coffee and maybe just have a chat about what I want to do and see if you're interested in possibly helping out? I said, yeah, that's fine. So about a week later, we met up and had a coffee, and we went through the deal. And basically the deal was she lived quite a bit away. She didn't really have any knowledge of good trades around the area. Obviously, I had an A team at that point. So our deal was she would fund a renovation on a property. I would get paid to manage the deal and complete a renovation for us. So that was we went through all the nuts and bolts of it and wrote out a contract, and that was my next deal after that. So we went from having not put any effort into budgeting or due diligence or anything like that on our own deal straight into someone else's deal, And there's a lot more weight on your back then, so you've got to get things right. So then it come down to, we really had to budget. I knew what things cost. I just never put them to paper before. I'd never put a budget together. So I put a budget together.
This was your first budget you'd done?
First budget, yeah. So I believe this was 2019. So I'd signed up for ILRE Real Estate in 2016. It took me to 2019 before I did a budget for a deal. So that's pretty scary. But put a budget together and completed that deal. And that student, we actually come in under budget on that deal. So that student was quite happy with the outcome of that property. That's an ongoing deal that student's still working on now, doing other things on that deal with subdivisions and stuff like that. But it's amazing when you put all that effort in at the start and you put the due diligence and the training together, that you can come out with such a result like that, from going to just completely winging life to having a budget and coming in under budget. It was just a real good turnaround, a good, pat on the back, and you're going the right way now, and we kept it moving from there.
And they gave you confidence to move forward from there?
Definitely. We were already looking at our next deal. We purchased our next deal halfway through that renovation for that student, but we also then started going, well, let's help other students that are in a similar position to this student, and let's start managing deals with other students. So we started that conversation with students that we'd met through just boot camps and things like that, because by that point we were sucked in. We were going to every boot camp we could, whether it was subdivisions, construction, whatever it was, asset protection, didn't matter what it was, we were there because we just wanted to be in that environment, wanted to be in that mindset.
And you were also reading books too. Can you want to explain what it's like to get into the training, as opposed to, because you said that you weren't really into study and all that?
Yeah, growing up, I just couldn't read. It just wasn't a thing I could do. I couldn't study properly. But once this light bulb moment of change, when we went to that first initial boot camp, and realised not only if you want to change your life, this is the best avenue for us, but it was the enjoyment we got out of it. We actually enjoyed doing the deals, but talking with the like-minded people as well, like creating those relationships and building those networks, even out of the community. So with real estate agents, your A team, all those people, just building that relationship and helping each other out to get that common goal was something we were really attracted to, because I was stuck in an industry where that wasn't the case. Where I worked and where I grew up, that was not a common goal, and everyone working together to achieve that goal was not something that was it was more directed to what some individual wanted. And I didn't like that. I liked the idea of everyone's working together for this, and we achieve this and we celebrate together. That's where I wanted to be. That's what I wanted to do. And that's what we started gravitating towards, and that's what we started to love.
And you started reading books more too, didn't you?
Yeah, the books. Once I started getting attracted to finding out where I wanted to go, the next stage was obviously more knowledge. So then the books came. And growing up, if I read a book for 10 minutes, I'd be asleep. And then I remember going to all these conferences, and we'd be on planes flying to Queensland or flying to Melbourne, and I'd read a good 150 pages front to back out of some of Dee's books, because you just get, it was all I wanted to know. It was all I wanted to think about. And it wasn't the money, it was more the mindset and the knowledge, and I could feel change. I could feel direction starting to come from doing this stuff, and not just around property, life in general. Having a direction in life was one of the biggest things, I think, is what kept me reading and kept me interested and kept me learning. and kept me pushing to establish more of these relationships was it was helping not just property, but helping in just life and giving me a direction of where I wanted to go.
Dymphna always says it's the education, doesn't she? She said, you know,
Yes.
the difference between doing it is the education, and man, it's so nice to hear you got into it. Yeah.
I'm sure Dee said it, but there's a quote I've been hearing a lot lately. If you think education's expensive, try ignorance. And I nearly think of that nearly every day now. You know, every day that just one quote pops in my head, and I think about it all the time. And just remember that, because if I never clicked on that link to get that education right at the very start, even though I didn't do it right at the start, it really scares me where life would be now, where my mindset would be now. How would I think as a person without doing everything that we've done now?
Bit of a change,
so
hey?
just remembering that knowledge. Yeah.
Got it, man. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back. So now you got the knowledge. What happened deal wise? Because it's
Yes.
like we tried to calculate the deals. We didn't calculate them. So let's run through them. The next one was a flip deal. Was that right? Oh, and just to clarify as well, the first one with the budget, that was, you got paid just purely to manage that deal. Was that right?
Yeah, I did do a lot of the work myself, but yeah, managing.
So it wasn't really a profit deal. It was a paid to manage that deal. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. And what about the next one? The flip one, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the next one was our deal that we'd purchased after selling, getting rid of all that debt, and it left us enough to purchase a deal and just enough to renovate. So that was a flip deal. That was right before, that was in process while we were at Real Estate Super Conference. It took us about 10 weeks to complete. We bought in at 320, put about 80 into it, and come out with 490 when we sold. That was another stepping stone. And while we were doing that, we were also building relationships with other students too. So those students were coming to the property and seeing progress as well. And that started to build a relationship and trust between myself and the student, because they could see that we could perform and we can do it. And we can produce profit. So that deal was definitely a good stepping stone for what was to come after that, definitely.
Awesome. So that was about a 90K profit on that one, yeah?
Yeah.
And then the next one?
Next one. So after that, during that process, we joined Platinum, which is a great little community inside the community, if you want to call it that. And it's very good for bringing people together that can help each other. And that's one of the great things I think that the coaches do in that platform, in that community, is bring people that can work together. So I met quite a few people quite a few good relationships in that community. But our first one we done was with a student from there. We were originally going to buy a renovation property purely for renovation flip, but the circumstances for that student changed, so we moved to a more longer term property, which was an Airbnb property, or short-term rental property. There was a slight renovation done on that property at the start, and we also styled that property for that student, because they do live quite a way away. And then we moved that property onto the Airbnb market, and it's been very, very successful, that property. But in the background of that, we also had our business that was just chugging along in the background that Alex looks after. And we realised that we had a lot of a lot of information from other people's how they market their properties and things like that. Due from the business that we have access to a lot of their calendars and things like that, which a lot of people don't normally get. So we could use that to our advantage to really fine tune our business to really make these properties profitable for students, or just for people in general, whoever the owner of the property is. So we use that to our advantage to really streamline our business and market our properties properly when we put them on Airbnb. So that led us to, well, let's start renovating Airbnb properties from the very start with the whole process of just Airbnb in mind. So we set up that deal with that student, got that one up and running, and then we really started focusing on Airbnb renovation. So then our next deal was our deal, which we renovated for Airbnb. So we turned a 3-bed 1-bath into a 5-bed 3-bath in about 8 weeks. Full renovation of the property in about 8 weeks. And then we were able to test what we learned from the information we could get from other people that had done it in the past, the people that had done it right, and then obviously the people that had done it wrong as well. We could use that information and realize, let's not do that. Let's do what these guys are doing, but then take little chunks of each one and put it all together in one platform to market the properties that way. So we put that to effort on our property, and basically from December last year to this shutdown, unfortunately, we never had a free day. So the method worked. So we put that together with that property, our property, but also the other students' property that we had. And then we had somebody outside of the community that had come on with us as well. So we started using that with their property as well. And we could see a trend. They were all performing well. They were all at the top of the listings, things like that. All the targets we were trying to hit, we got. So we had our business venture on the side going, plus renovating our properties as well. So we renovated ours, and then what did we do after that? Shortly after that, we met another student from Platinum as well. So we met a student through Platinum that one of the coaches put us together with. And we never did a deal with that student, but she forwarded us on to another student. So it's just that whole talking with people and seeing, oh, this may not work for me, but I know this person that might be interested. So then we moved on to them.
Just on that point, Jordan, can I just ask, like, how does it roll from you now when you've got to find the right person? Like, obviously the community is quite extensive, and there's a comment there, obviously it'd be great to rope in other students, but it's not really kind of roping in, but it's kind of, you've got to find the right fit, don't you? Yeah. You've got to find the right balance between the two. Do you want to explain how it works from your side?
It's that connection first. You've definitely got to have those conversations first and see what you're both looking to do, because if you try and go into a deal together but your goals aren't similar, then it just doesn't work. So you need to nut that out at the start. You've got to ask the hard questions at the start. What are you interested in? What's your financial position? What are you interested in putting in? Because if you don't iron that out at the start and you leave it till later for all that sort of stuff to come out, it's really going to put you in a tough position. I think just having the confidence to sit down with a person and have a coffee and chat about it. We've definitely turned, I wouldn't say we've turned people away in the community, but we've definitely turned people away outside of the community just because our goals are too different, or what they're willing for us to provide is not what we are providing. So definitely just going through the nuts and bolts at the start and figuring out what each other wants is key at the start, and not leaving it till later.
It's a long way from where you started.
Yeah.
Good. What advice would you give to students if they're new and they're kind of like going, oh gee, I'd like to do a joint venture? What's the best place to start for them from your point?
best place to start is the networking and just talking to people. We've spoke to that many people, and they don't, like, not everyone will work out. Not everyone's meant to work out. But if you persist with it, especially in the community, there are so many people in the community that are like-minded, that just want to get something done, that just need to find that missing piece. You can be that missing piece if it works out. If the shoe fits, it'll be, and you can start the conversation from there. You'll find working with people can get you a lot further, a lot faster. Whether if you need a little bit of help, like Platinum is there. I love Platinum. We're not in Platinum at the moment, but we will definitely go back to Platinum, purely for that like-minded mindset and people wanting to get to them goals quicker, wanting to help one another to achieve what they need to achieve. And the fact that the coaches are there every step of the way to back that up. And then you've got a coach looking at a deal from both angles, not just from your angle, but from the other student's angle as well. So it's getting monitored from two different ways, or two different positions. So even if I would say, if things aren't working to as quick as maybe as what you like them to in the normal or in ultimate or quantum, maybe look at Platinum, because it does help start those conversations. If starting that conversation is something you're struggling with, it definitely helps. Definitely.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Cool. So now you did, getting back to the deal side of things, you did 2 deals with some friends, was that right?
Yeah. So we did. They had 2 houses at once. Actually, we flipped both of them at once. And part of that deal was I needed a deposit for my next deal, and they needed basically a bit of help management and some labour as well to help complete the job. So basically, we come to an agreement where they would put in my deposit to get me into my next deal quicker, and I would give them labour rather than an interest payment at the end for the return of their funds. So that was, and that led us on to another deal. So that one, they sold those deals. They were quite happy. And then they moved into the Airbnb market with myself. So we started that next journey, helping them purchase a property, style a property. We did a small renovation on that one as well. And we just all these relationships just started building around us. So that's got them to a point where they're ready to look at another deal now, and move forward. So that's led us onto our next deal. Our next deal is with.
Which one are we up to now?
I was just going down the list. I keep losing count. So we're up to 9 deals deep. 9 deals deep. Couple more to go. And
then now there was one that you said that you did, 3-bed to 5-bed. How did that stack up dollars wise for you?
Dollars wise. So we're actually going to sell that one now. So originally, we kept the equity uplift and the resale purpose in mind, but the goal was to have it as an Airbnb. But sometimes, even though you do want to keep something, selling it puts you in a much better position. So when we originally purchased this one, we purchased this for $400,000 in September last year. We've spent $100,000 on it now. It was 80. We've just done quite a large barbecue area at the back, which has bumped it up a little bit. But that now is going to sell for over $800,000. So once all these lockdowns and things like that get lifted, we're going to go to market and put that profit into multiple deals straight away after this one sells. So that's very exciting for us to see a deal with that much profit in sort of less than 12 months. Sorry, very, very big achievement for us. We're very excited.
So it's 300Ks in less than a year.
Yeah. In
Awesome.
one flip.
Awesome. Fantastic. And so now we can go back to deal number 9, was it?
Oh, yeah. So this one come about from networking. So we always talk about A teams and setting up a network and have people around you working for you. And this one come from that. So this one was actually our agent that we would sell with, had brought us some potential clients that were looking for an Airbnb property. And that their mindset at that time was, let's buy at the top of the market, something that's already got furniture in it, all the bells and whistles, and we'll just put it on the market and off we go. I said, look, guys, if you want to do that, maybe talk to these guys first, because they've been doing some interesting things in that space. So they gave us a call, and we went and had a coffee, and they were telling us about the properties they were looking at purchasing. And I was, yeah, they will work, but you'll be in a very, very high mortgage point. How would you feel about possibly doing a deal where we renovate a property with Airbnb in mind, and you can purchase in a lot lower, obviously, because that property needs renovation and some uplift done to it. So then I started talking about equity and uplift, and how if their mortgage point was lower, they've got a bit more control over their costs and things like that, or their rate per night, things like that. And the bell started ticking in their head. And I'd mentioned to them that I'd done real estate training, but I never said who with. And we went and looked at a few properties, and we talked about this and that, and we kept going over the basics about the equity and things like that. And then they said, oh, look, just out of interest, who did you do your property training with? I said, oh, look, I love real estate. And I said, oh, I thought it sounded familiar. And I said, why is that? And she said, because I used to do I love real estate about 3 years ago. And she said, as soon as you started talking about all the basics, all the things started coming back to me. And ever since we had that conversation, there was the trust, and the relationship just grew in leaps and bounds from there. So from that point, now we have a property that we're halfway through renovating for that. Well, they're not a student, but they used to be students. It's halfway done. They're very happy. We're about 3.5 weeks in, and we're about halfway finished. So that's similar to this property. So it was a 3-bed, 1 bath. It's going to be a 5-bed, 3 bath as well. It's a bit of a strategic one. So we're renovating that in sections. So we're going to do a major renovation at the start, and then come back a little bit later and fix up a few things. But just being able to start another relationship in that, using them same strategies and sticking those same basics every time, has been a really, really good step forward. So same with that. So we get paid to manage that property renovate the property, and then we're getting to manage the property after that. And then Alex also gets paid to style the property after that as well. So it's just every step has just opened another door for us, and it's just been great. So
it sounds like you're getting into your cookie cutter approach, where you found your rhythm, you found your strategy that really works for you, and you just do it cookie cutter time again and again. Is that?
And it's also paving the way for me to leave my job. So that was one of our biggest goals, was to get me out of work. So and do something I love. So that's really produce an income for us that we can then use to replace my income that I've got now. So with several different, I don't necessarily have to do one thing. I can project manage, I can property manage. It depends. Like, I've got different avenues I can go down now, which is good to have that flexibility and not be so stuck in a job where I've got to go to this one place every single day, do the same thing. It's given me that really flexible lifestyle to have a life, but also do what I want for a job as well.
So how do you foresee kind of getting yourself with that goal of getting yourself out of work? Is that closer on the horizon for you? What have you got in
It
store for there?
is. So basically, the thing that's really holding us up now is we want to have a couple more deals on the go as soon as possible. So one way to fuel that quicker is to sell the property that we've just renovated. So that will give us enough profit to buy in this particular market we're in and still be able to have multiple deals on the go at once and fund the renovation for those deals at once. And then during that time, there'll obviously be that transition period from me being in the mining industry to the property industry. So there's a bit of a time lag there before I can borrow again. So in that period of switching from renovating both of those properties, I'll also switch from mining to property, which will, once we finish those properties, then I'll be able to look at borrowing through the new business, which will be great fun.
Right. Awesome, man. Awesome. Now, just a question of in location. Which state are you based? New South Wales. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. And then the other question was, do you have a trades background?
Trades background. I am a fitter by trade. So very sort of mining and maintenance based is what my trade's about. But I've spent a lot of time growing up with my pop, who used to work around timber a lot. And I spend a lot of time with my trades too. So a lot of my deals, I'm there every day, watching what they do, get a better understanding of how things work, how things are done, the right way of things to be done, which is it's really helped me grow in that aspect as well. Awesome.
Now, you mentioned deal number 9. Is that it? Have you got anything else up your sleeve at the moment?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Fire away. What's the next one? What are you up to?
All right. So I've got we're in the process with some students at the moment. I'm actually really proud of these students. They went through some really tough times with changing in markets and things like that, and sticking to the basics of what. So we sat down and we went through what we need to look for and what we need to purchase to fund a flip deal for them. So we went through their budget, things like that, and we come up with a budget, and then looked at areas where their budget would fit in with a flip deal in my area, in the area that I focus on. And during that time, we offered on a few properties, but as things do, markets change and things like that, and they missed out on a few, and then we had to keep changing up our strategy to get into a deal. But they stayed with the basics. They didn't get flustered and just purchase and just run out and purchase one just because they could. It took them 12 months to get there. So there was a lot of persistence there and a lot of waiting, but it took them 12 months and we got there. So they've just bought in a deal at 320,000 they paid for this little property. We're going to renovate it. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath at the moment. We're going to renovate it into a 4-bed, 2-bath, and their uplifts for sale is about 700,000 or just over at the moment. So there's quite a bit of uplift in that deal for those students. And we're just going through the final stages of council and things like that now, and then we're ready to go.
Right, awesome. And look, I just want to cover across in regards to, because a lot of people are asking for suburbs and stuff. We don't really want to drill down onto the actual areas and suburbs. I mean, this is a time that you've spent to do this for yourselves, and it's specific to the strategy that you're using. It's in the regional New South Wales area, yeah. Yeah,
New South Wales area, regional area. I don't necessarily stray too far from where I'm at now, because obviously I've done the due diligence here. I know how the market works here. So
the whole idea is to become a market expert. So you're a market expert in your specific area, and that's really the intention that Dymphna teaches.
It builds that relationship with new clients as well that are trying to get into the market but don't understand those areas so well, to have someone like myself that just concentrates in a certain area, and they can see benefit in having that perfect person on their team. Plus they can look at the deals we've done in the past and see that the process works, definitely.
Mate, awesome. Now, have you got any more up your sleeve?
That is about it at the moment.
That's about it. Awesome, man.
I'm,
Awesome.
I'm working on deals with people, but we haven't locked any in as such yet. No.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So, look, fantastic how you've shared this. One of the things I wanted to know is how is your life different now to when it was when you first joined?
Having a purpose in life, being able to help people. You may not know it at the time, or you may not know it in that moment, but when you look back and you've changed your mindset, like Millionaire Within is one of the biggest things that I've done in this time in I Love Real Estate. Changing your mindset to achieve, or even changing your mindset to understand that there's goals that you want to achieve. Even understanding that you want to achieve something is a big thing, I think. So having drive and knowing where we want to go and knowing how to get there, those things we never used to have. We used to go to work, come home, watch the telly, and that was it. There was no. We used to we'd go on holidays once a year. That was it. So then there was the change from just doing what everyone else does in life to having control of your own life and going, let's set these goals. Let's go on this holiday. Let's have 3 holidays this year rather than 1. Becoming my own person. And this community's definitely helped that. Confidence, direction, happiness, the whole lot. It's all changed. It's great. It scares me to think of where I'd be now if I didn't click on that link. Definitely.
Awesome.
And it feels like we've been doing it for ages, but we really haven't been doing it for a great deal of time. But it's amazing how quick it can change all aspects of your life, your happiness, your financial position, all of it just changes for the better. And it's just sticking with those basics and putting those basics to work every time you do something, whether it's property based or outside of property, just life in general.
So how do you stack up now, kind of like dollars wise, like if you have a look at change of equity from when you started to where you're at the moment?
Change of equity. So where we're at now is obviously the debt position. The debt is only the good debt that we've got on properties. So, we near had, if you take the property out of that first deal we had, there was still nearly 200 grand, 250 grand's worth of bad debt there. All that's gone now. All that's gone. So, money used to come in and just go onto interest payments. Now it comes in and just sits in the bank waiting for the next deal or waiting for the next holiday, So financial wise, there's a lot more freedom there. There's a lot more. You've still got to have a budget and you've still got to have a plan, but it's nice to be able to do a budget or do a plan up and see the money that you've got there and you can use it for that deal rather than go to the bank and ask for a personal loan. It's a lot better position to be in.
So nice to hear, man. So nice to hear. Yeah. And I think there's a question there about when did you join? It was 2016. Was that right? When you guys joined?
Yes, I joined in 2016, and then got serious and I started doing things properly at 2019. So if you fast forward from 2019 to now, it's not really that long of a period of doing things right and how quickly we've changed it.
Yeah. So what
just
do you
spun things around?
Do you have an idea of the change around, the turnaround from 2019 to now?
Like time period as such?
Yeah. Well, it's like about two years or so.
Yeah, nearly about 2 years. Well, we've been comfortable for nearly 8 months now, so it didn't even take us the 2 years. And I think, yeah, 14, 16 months, and we were out of that terrible position we were in, helping ourselves and helping others in that small space of time, just from doing the basics right and studying and sticking with it.
So for the first 3 years, you hadn't studied, you were flying by the seat of your pants.
Yep.
And you'd created all these issues and problems in that first maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 years, you've done almost 9 and 10 deals and flipped it around hugely.
Yeah, yeah. So this, it doesn't matter what position you can get in. There is something in this platform that will help you move forward, whether it's a person, whether it's the information, there's something that will help you move forward. Just don't do what I do and move backwards before you move forwards. Yeah.
Right, awesome. Now, just one last thing I just want to know about your attitude. And
yeah.
How do you when you're in this, how do you confront it? How do you approach a problem in a situation? Because there's a couple of things you've mentioned, and this was a little bit earlier on, and you were talking about how when you're in a joint venture, you've got a responsibility to the other person and how you approach that. And I really wanted to highlight that because it's something I've noticed a lot of successful students actually do. They really take that responsibility on for looking after the other joint venture partner. Do you want to just expand on how you approach it?
I would definitely say it's definitely mindset. You need to work on your mindset, because you see it a lot in every part of your life with other people. An issue will arise and they shut down, or they stress out, or they just let it overwhelm them. Everything can be fixed. Anything can be fixed. There's whether you've got to fix it or you can ask for help from someone else to fix it. Taking a step back, taking a 5-minute break and assessing that situation, because 9 times out of 10 it's not as bad as what it appears straight away. But having that control over your mind to say, well, this is just a problem, I just need to fix it, rather than completely stressing out at the start. I feel a lot of people sort of get pulled down that way. So focus on the task at hand and figure out, if it's not you that needs to fix it, who can, because there will be someone there that can. Nothing's there that can't be fixed. Especially when you've got once you build your A team around you, it won't be that far. You'll have to look to find someone that can help. It's just having that control and taking that 5 minutes, take a breath, and figure out either what the answer is or how can I get the answer to fix this problem.
Fantastic.
Like you said, with the joint ventures too, when you can do things like that and people see it, it just builds that trust and that relationship even more. So yeah, it can not just solving the issue, but it can help build relationships as well.
And you had to get really honest about your situation too.
Honest about everything. Honest about coming to terms with the fact that what you think you're doing really well at, or if you think you're going the direction you want to go to, but you're not getting there, there's obviously a roadblock there. And coming to terms with that and swallowing a bit of pride and saying, righto, it's time to listen to someone else and follow someone else that knows what they're doing and listen to what they're saying. That takes a little bit of courage, I think, sometimes, and swallowing that down and moving forward is sometimes can bring people unstuck and put them into a roadblock they can't get past. But that's what experts and the strategist team's there for, to help you move forward and put you in a better position. Absolutely, man.
So, Jordan, for you, where to from here? There was a question asked. Where to? 1 to 5 year goals, man. Where are you at? Where are you planning? If you've done this in the last couple of years.
All right. So to go back to Millionaire Within, when one of the things you do there is you write yourself a letter. Sorry to spoil it for people that haven't been to Millionaire Within, but you've told some things to do, and you've put your thoughts, where you want to be 12 months from now in a letter. I think it was, 12 months from now in a letter. So I believe I wrote that letter when I was 28. I received it when I was 29. And my goal was to be self-employed, doing what I wanted to do by the age of 30. I turned 30 a couple of weeks ago, and that goal is very, very close. So, you know, COVID has pushed that along a bit because we haven't been able to put this property on the market yet. But when we do, as soon as this property sells and we purchase the another two, that's me out of my job. I'll transition over to our business full time. So that's where I am going from here, is to move into property full time and do something I love to do every day. And then once I'm in that position, also build that business, but also build our own portfolio up as well. So the more time I've got to focus on that, the quicker it will happen. So and then basically, hopefully, when we're allowed to travel again, elope with the partner and get married is the next step. So those two are the two big things at the moment. So that's where our sort of next 3 years will put us, pushing those goals.
Jordan, thank you so much for sharing. It's been really, really insightful, and I really appreciate you sharing your insights and your attitudes, and also just a bit of, a bit of that honesty about where you're at and how you came to start with, and the hole you dug yourself into, and then you dug yourself out of it after getting along to boot camp and stuff like that. I think that's really insightful to understand that there's always a way out. And how you changed it. So for anyone here, please type in there to let us know how did you go? How has this been good for you guys? Have you got a bit of an insight? I can see that there's a couple of comments come through as well there. Great attitude, yep, which is really good. So mate, that's it. We're at the 1 o'clock mark. We've spent an hour having a great chat on this Friday. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Pleasure.
And we'll be looking out for your videos coming up too, won't we?
So, I don't believe I've done a completion video of this property that we're in now. It was just so busy. As soon as we went online, it was very difficult to get into the property. Obviously, I can now because of COVID shutdowns. But now I've done the little extension on the back with the outdoor area. I might do one of here. Definitely going to do one of the current students that we're doing that we're halfway through that with, that I've already done some videos with. And then hopefully if I can get these last few bits and pieces sorted with the new deal, I'll do an introductory video of that renovation for the 2-bed 1-bath to the 4-bed 2-bath very shortly. So lots to come. Hopefully people enjoy it, and they can take something from it, because that's all I want to do. I just want to help other people, because this community's helped me so much. It's just incredible.
So it's certainly lucky you clicked on that I Love Real Estate button, eh?
Definitely. I've one of the things I'm really proud of is I've actually helped in some new recruits now. So some new students, I've actually passed on some of the things that I've done, and they've been that drawn in by it and that excited about it. They've actually signed up themselves. So that's something I'm really proud of as well, that I've been able to help other people move into this community as well.
Awesome. Okay, look, Jordan, thanks again. Thank you so much. We've got a couple of questions here. Past sessions, their recordings are all on the Facebook Live. So if you look under the Facebook Live tabs, we will be putting up a tab on the members only website to review those sessions, these sessions. What was it? Are you still in Platinum? You're not in Platinum at the moment, but you're thinking of joining again. You were there for what? Was it 1 year that you were there for previously?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Definitely get back into. Great people.
Yeah. Excellent. And Peter, the videos are not on the members website as yet. They are all under the Facebook group. Look under the videos and you'll find all of the previous videos here, as long as this one as well, this stream. Okay, that's it. It's lunchtime. It's Friday lunchtime. Once again, much appreciated. Thank you so much. I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing those videos coming out as well. And it's clear that there's a lot of students who really got a lot out of it. So thank you so much. We will be seeing more of you on the Facebook group, won't we?
Definitely.
Excellent. And maybe Alex as well.
Yes, she'll get there. She'll get there. She's still a little bit nervous around the whole video thing, but trying to warm her up to it. So
we're all friends here. We're all friends.
That's right. That's right. I really want her to do her before and after when she stages properties, because she's staging a lot of properties now for sale, for Airbnb, all that sort of thing. That's a big part of what keeps her busy through the day now. So I want her to try and promote that, but by herself without me, and see how she goes.
Great, mate. Awesome. We look forward to seeing that too.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, everyone. Look, thank you so much, Jordan. We're going to end that off there. It's beer o'clock. I don't think it's beer o'clock, Ash, but it's 1 o'clock. It's Friday. I mean, we're all in lockdown. I'm not too sure what you're going to do, but either way, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. You will be able to just see this onto the Facebook group under the videos. You'll be able to review it there, and we'll also be doing a little bit of editing and put it up onto the members website at a later point in time. We'll let you know exactly where that is as well. So thank you, Jordan, once again. Awesome. We'll leave it there. Have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend and Friday, and we'll see more of Jordan when he posts up more videos, Alex. And other than that, we'll leave everyone on there, and we'll catch you later, hey?
Awesome stuff. Catch you later, guys. Have a good weekend.
Alrighty. See you now. Bye.